Alright, here we are. I'm trying to make a real-time video this time, so it's a little draw with me again. I have prepared this pencil sketch of this is a bluegill or sunfish, or it's a panfish. And yeah, I'm hoping that the sound quality will turn out nice. For those of you who don't like to watch real-time videos, if the footage is good enough, I'm going to make a time-lapse of this as well, because usually I make more time-lapse videos. I hope that my light setup is good for both. And yeah, so my plan for this one is to use this brush pen. I only have a pocket brush pen from Pentel. They are quite nice. And I also have these fine liners for finer detail work. I hope that the light will stay with me and stay more or less the same, so it won't fluctuate. Let's get into this and see what will happen. I'm a little bit nervous because I know the camera is running in real time, and I don't know where to start. Let's just do this first stroke down. Alright, this is totally different than what I'm used to. I usually draw much more with fine liners and clean lines. And I also forgot how difficult it is to draw and talk at the same time. See, I stop talking when I have to concentrate. So this is a skill you really have to get into. Maybe I should have done some practice stroke on another sheet of paper. That would have been the professional way to do it, but I was just so hyped to finally ink this drawing, because I've prepared this drawing a while ago now. And I really wanted to have the time to make a real-time video for you. Also, it's weird to not turn around your paper. I think I always say that when you make a drawing for a video, that I usually try to avoid turning my paper, just so that you don't get, well, can you call it motion sick? I don't know if you can call it that, but I think you all know what I mean when you have these time-lapse videos and you're speeding up time a lot. Then the turning can be very frustrating or weird to look at if it is at 600 or 800 times speed. So yeah, I decided to draw this little fish. Before I did my drawing, or also before I did my inking, I watched a few drawings of, what's the name again? Sorry Kim, yeah. Sorry Kim. I don't exactly know how you pronounce it, but I guess if you like ink drawings, you could know her and her drawings. She does a really good job with brush pen sketching and all that, and I really like her fish drawings. And I really enjoy the fact that when you draw with a brush pen, you get this, let's call it a sculpted line. You can see how how this pen is making thin and thick lines with the same pen. You get a little bit of variety in your pen stroke. It makes the whole drawing much more interesting than only having the same fine lines all the time. And I think for natural stuff such as animals or plants, rocks, it is quite good because from the beginning you get a little bit of random texture in there. Now, do I also make the eye with the brush pen? Yes, let's go for it. Really not that great at drawing proper circles and counting in the facts that you cannot turn a paper. It makes it even more difficult. Now I'm just gonna black out that whole pupil. If I want to add some white in there again, I can. Anytime I can use whatever medium I want. Also this one. I mean, if it's something like a sunfish, they have this, I think they call it ear on their jaw, but there's always this red dot, or maybe bluegills have the blue dot. They are very colorful fish. And I'm drawing it in black and white. But yeah, I also wanted to tell you one of the reasons why I'm drawing this fish and why I might be drawing some more fish in the coming days. Let's just make a really nice stroke here for the fins. Is that I've taken up the hobby since about a year now of fishing. So I like going to the water and catch my own fish to eat, which is quite an amazing hobby because you can see the animals up close, and well, if you, sadly as it is, if you want to eat them you have to kill them. You can also see what they look like inside, so all the organs and stuff. It's quite interesting if you're curious about stuff like that. So these sunfish are all in all these panfish, like all of the bluegill variety and whatever, pumpkin seeds. They are American fish, but I mean, if you watch my channel, you know that I live in Berlin, so in Germany, Europe. Usually they are not at home here, but there are some spots where you can get at least the sunfish variety. So in Germany they're called Sonnenbarsch, which translated means sun perch. Yeah, sun perch. A perch is a barsch. And the way they got here is by people who have aquariums. So usually here in Europe, sunfish is a fish for the aquarium. It's a, do you call it sweet water? It's not a saltwater fish, and I think the difference is sweet water. So in German it's called Süßwasser. So the opposite of the salt water. Freshwater fish. I think it's freshwater you call it, actually. Let me show you the fins down here. So they are people who had them to be in an aquarium because they really, really are beautiful fish. If I find a photograph of a sunfish that I caught, I will show it here somewhere in this video. And the sunfish actually thrives pretty well in our waters here. So the waters are warm enough for them to feel at home. So they also make babies and new populations, so they can live on their own. So it's not that you only have sunfish when people put them in the water, but I would say some time ago some people put them in the water and they have grown their own population. So now they live here in Germany as well. I don't think they live everywhere, but there are lots of spots where you can sunfish. There are a lot of spots where you can find sunfish. Pooh. Drawing and talking, making mistakes. And I also have one place here where I live where I caught some sunfish. So I know where they're at. Currently it's too cold, so I guess they have like lots of other fish that are usually in the region where I fish. They have moved on to warmer water, so they usually move more towards the city. I live in Berlin, but I live a little bit on the outskirts of the town. So I live somewhere where there's lots of green, lots of water. I'm just going to make these spikes a little bit longer. I think I made them too short in the sketch because I was touching the border of the paper, which I also did here. So maybe I'm going to put some paper here and just finish the fin so that I can have a clean scan of one whole fish. We will see. But anyway, yeah, most of the fish, when the water gets colder, they move more towards the city. So in Berlin, you have rivers like the Spree. And here in Grünau, where I live, there is the Dahme. And the Dahme also runs through whole of Köpenick, where there is a little town center. So it's smaller, older part of Berlin, I would say. It's not very city-like, but it's part of Berlin anyway. And there the Dahme flows into the Spree. So if you want to catch fish in fall times or in winter times, you try to go where the fish go. So here at my usual spots where I would catch these, they are not there anymore. They are somewhere else. I haven't found them yet again. But as far as I know, in America, where these fish are from, you also have to search for them when there's like summertime. I mean, I think the name sunfish comes from the color, but also I guess they like warm waters, they like sun. Maybe they also prefer shallow waters so that they are near the surface when there's sunlight, so they can catch the sun, I would guess. I'm speculating a lot here, so if you are one of my viewers who knows a little bit more about these fish, you can comment down. Feel free to explain a little bit about this fish. Write it in the comments. I would really like to hear more about this beautiful fish. So for me, if I want to catch them again, because they're really good eating fish, their meat is really nice. It's not a flaky fish. It's a very What's the difference of flaky? You know, when the meat really holds well together, there are not many bones that come off the fish. So you know how you have some freshwater fish who have a lot of bones in between their meat as well, so you have to see how you prepare them so that you can eat them well. I mean, you could also go fishing and catch a fish, unhook it and let it live and only fish for fun. But for me personally, if I go fishing, I would like to catch something to eat, because for me it's unfair to the fish to just go fishing and say, you know what, I'm just gonna catch you, put you a hook through your mouth, give you pain, and then just throw you back for my own fun. So if I go fishing, I go with the intention of catching fish I can keep. But of course there are laws and regulations of how big a fish has to be, the sizes to keep them. Like for instance for this one, because it's not a native, well, not native to Germany, these fish have no size regulation. So if you catch small ones, you can also take them back home and cook them up and stuff like that, because they are officially an invasive species. So you're kind of free to do whatever you want with them. Maybe there are even laws who tell you that you should take them with you. So if you catch one, you should take them out of the water, because they have, well, they should not be here anyway. I don't know about that, but... And of course you will always catch fish, because you cannot plan what you get on your fishing rod. So there might be times where you catch fish that are currently protected, so you have to throw them back anyway, or put them back. Throwing is not so good. So usually when you catch something, you try to be nice and gentle and careful if you see that it is the wrong size fish or the wrong fish at all, and you try to put them back nicely and gently so that they can go on swimming and maybe grow, or you can come back and catch them when they are not closed by the law. And of course I would say, even though there are a lot of laws concerning fish, you can also use your own head. And for example, you catch a fish where you can clearly see that it is ready to make offspring, to have a lot of eggs. Like you catch a female, and the female has a lot of eggs. It's ready to lay their eggs and make babies. You can, I would say that's my personal opinion. Usually in Germany there's a law, if you catch a fish that you're allowed to take home, you would have to take it home, because of the animal protection laws. You are not supposed to just catch fish for fun. You should not harm any living creature for no reason. So if you catch something that is allowed to take home, you are officially bound by the law to take them home with you. But my personal opinion is, if you catch a fish that is, for example, like I said, female with lots of eggs, and you know it's going to lay their eggs, make babies in the next few weeks or even days, I'm all for deciding sometimes to let a fish go, even if it is a keeper. And the same goes with big-sized fish. So sometimes you catch a big-sized fish, and there are many fish here who have a size limit. Ooh, can you hear the ambulance? Anyway, there are many fish here who have a size limit on how big they have to be, but then there is no size limit up. So, for example, if you catch a pike, I think the pike here has to be 45 centimeters, and from 45 centimeters on you can take it with you. perfect cooking size is 60. But even if you catch a pike that is like a meter tall, a meter long, you could, or you would be required by the law to take it with you. But I think it's sometimes really good to just go and say, hey, this is a fish that really grew big, so it has good genes, or it is really, really intelligent for having lived so long, so it's really smart. And I would say there's nothing wrong with putting back a really nice and big fish so that they can make new babies, to make other strong fish. So it comes down to the laws, but also on common sense, I would say. But yeah, I like fishing. I like catching my own fish to eat. I have done that a lot over this year. It's my first year of fishing. When I moved here to Berlin, I was really, really happy to see that the apartment we got is really close to the water. So in Germany, you have to make a license so that you are allowed to fish. But also, even if you have a license for fishing, which, by the way, is tied to a course, so you have to take classes, you have to make exams to get them, and also have to pay all the fees. So then you have your license, and then you have to, which is really funny, you have to actually make your license valid by paying a fee again as well. So in Germany, fishing is very much tied to a lot of fees, a lot of money, which hopefully goes into a lot of nature projects and keeping fish well and alive and stuff. Anyway, and then even if you have a license, which is paid for to be valid, you have to also get a license to fish in the water you want to fish in. So you need 3 kind of licenses. You need your permit, you need the valid permit, and, well, like the validation for the permit, and you need the license for the water. So I can fish in my waters here that are right in front of my doorsteps because I got me a 1-year license for this. So next year I have to take a new license again. And yeah. Anyway, let's stop talking about fish for a quick moment because I have done all the lines I wanted to do on this drawing. Well, the sun has come down a little bit. Let me make a little bit of light. Oh man, they're much better, the light. Now, I would like to add a little bit of shading, a little bit of texture in there, because you can see I've also sketched this part here is going to be the shadowy part. But I am unsure if I should do it with this pen and make brush strokes, difficult word, or use the fine liners and make hatching for my shadow and my texture. If you watch some drawings of Sori Kim, for example, she uses also the brush pen for the texturing. But she also has she has a lot of different brush pens. So let's see, let's get this paper here. Some sketches from another project. So if I now go like this, oh, all right. If you make these quick brush strokes, your brush breaks up a little bit and you have a lot of ink at the beginning, but not so much ink in the end. I would like to try this and see if I'm going to destroy this drawing or not. But that's why I'm here, making experiments. Let's see. Up, down, or down, up? Let's go for the up, down here. Okay, there you can already see a difference of paper because my test strokes, I did them on a regular copying paper. It's a thin paper. And this, which I'm drawing on, is actually a very smooth Bristol paper, like the type I used in my last video where I made the bone drawing. You can see it behaves much differently. It takes much more ink, so it doesn't do this dry brush strokes as much as the other paper. Which is fine, we just have to work with what we have here, because once ink is on the paper, you cannot take it back. So I'm gonna make some bold shadows here, I think, because this is on the underside of the fish. Let's make this a whole black thing here. If you're enjoying this type of video where I comment what I'm doing and tell you a little bit about myself as well, you can tell me in the comments, leave me a note, and because I really care what you guys enjoy watching. Because I'm not only making these videos for me, I'm also making them for you. So if you have content wishes, never be afraid to share them with me, and I will see what I can do. Kind of enjoying this. Let's make this a little bit thicker here, because this is the part where the gills are at underneath this thing. So these are the cheeks. Under this part, there are the gills. See, I have to turn my paper anyway a little bit, because now it's important to have a direction for your stroke. Really, on this paper, you cannot use this Pentel pocket brush pen as a really good dry brush. So I would need to get another pocket brush pen, or another brush pen, let's say, to get this effect more clearly. Or maybe it's just me, because I really like clean lines, that I'm a little bit not as talented to go with rough textures. I tried it a little bit last year during Inktober as well, where I dry brushed with a real with a real brush. And there I think it was easier for me to do that. So that's something that looks easy, but really takes a lot of practice. It's not as simple. Ooh, I like this part. I think it's also to do with being loose enough to have nice textures, but in that looseness you have to keep a certain amount of control, and to combine these two things together, I think that's the tricky part. I mean, I could also look at drawings of, for example, Sari Kim while I'm doing this, but I don't really want to copy her, Because if you look at something while you're drawing stuff, you have a tendency to just one-on-one copy what other people are doing, and I want to avoid that. So now here I have my kneadable eraser. Hopefully my ink is already seeped into the paper enough. Or should I wait? Because I want to get rid of my underlying sketch. But usually I wait a little bit before I do that, so that the ink has really time to sink into the paper so it doesn't smudge. Do we risk it? Let's try it in a very, very soft manner. All the risks I'm taking for you. I could just stop recording and continue on a later note, like go have lunch or something. But somehow I fear when I stop recording that I won't start again today, and then I will have to wait to another time where it's nice and quiet and good light out and all the stuff. So I really want to do this in one go. Well, it seems to work. This line you see here, I mean, I have the feeling I made it a little bit too thick, so it is a little bit too prominent. It's too much visible, but this actually is an important organ for the fish. This is part of their sense of touch. So they can, with this line, they can feel vibrations in the water. And so it is good for orientation and knowing where they are and where other fish are and all that stuff. Seems to work well. I'm not having any smudges. It seems to be dry enough. Also, a kneadable eraser is not as aggressive to the paper as a normal eraser, so that's also working in our favor here. Now the question is, do we make a bold black shadow in the middle of this black shadow or not? I'm a little bit torn, but I think I want to try it because I like this part where there's also some bold blacks. Or do I also make them with strokes? I make them with strokes. Let's go for it, folks. We can do this. Can you hear me concentrating by not saying anything for a while there? Yeah, I like that we do that. Or did that. That's good. I also want to put some simple structures into this here. Don't make him look so clean. I'm just going with my gut feeling here. I think that's also a key to brush drawings. Is just sometimes trust your gut a little bit. Because these strokes here will underline the forms that I've already put down, and at the same time, hopefully I won't smudge with my hand, And at the same time, they give a little bit of depth, because they work as soft shadows as well. Look at me here talking like I know what I'm doing, while actually just trying this out. Please don't listen to me too much. I'm also just experimenting with stuff. But that's the fun about this, experimenting, trying out things. Just seeing what comes out of it. I want to give it a little bit more three-dimensional feel up here. Yeah. Happy with these lines. Happy with these lines. Now I think I want to make a few of these here as well, because I'm not interested in drawing any of the single scales, but still give it a feeling like this fish has scales. So I want to give it a feeling of texture, but not having to draw the whole texture. In fact, that they're like for real. And this again is a place where the brush pen comes in handy compared to a fine liner, because it gives you different sizes of dots and brush strokes on a whim. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the next summer, so I can try to catch a few of these again. One difference as well to the fish that live in America to the ones that live here, although they feel quite well in our waters, they don't get as big as they get in America. I mean, also in America, they are small fish, but they are even smaller here. So usually they can get up to 30 centimeters in size. Like 30 centimeters is a really big, a really big version of this fish. But here they are more like 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters. They're quite small. They don't grow as much. Not they're pretty anyway. I caught mine on a drop shot rig. So you have a hook, and you have like a hook in the middle of your tackle, and then you have some line going down from the hook with a weight on it on the bottom, and you put on some worms or stuff like that, and you just put the weight on the bottom of the ocean floor, the bottom of the lake floor, and you just jiggle the worm around a little bit, and usually that's enough to attract the fish. And when they bite, you don't have a bobber, so you won't kind of see that they bite, but you will feel it in your rod. Your rod will start to vibrate if a fish bites, and then you just have to set the hook. And sometimes the fish are so intelligent, they bite your worm off the hook. And usually I'm a little bit annoyed when they do that, because bait costs money, but at the same time I'm proud of the fish. I'm like, okay, if you manage to do that, you have earned that food and to swim away with it. I mean, that was smart, getting the worm without getting the hook. So I don't want to overdo this. I think here we are. Let me zoom out here. You can see my chaos, my whole construction here for my cable from my microphone. Here we are. I think this is done for now. I'm gonna leave it like that. And I think I might make more paper with more sketches of these fish and just try this again and again and again and again. Because all there is to this is practice. If you do this for first time, second time, third time, you cannot know how your brush pen is behaving or what result you will get, and you just do it over and over again. I think that's the key to the whole brush pen drawing, well, as any other drawing. I thank you for watching this video. And again, for those who don't like to watch real-time videos, I'm going to make a time-lapse video of this one as well. So you can go and watch this here in this, I don't know how long this took, like half an hour or something video. Or the other version, which will be like 5 minutes or so. So you choose. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!